Hey everybody, welcome back to 1 Minute Walking Tours. Jonathan here. What else could these fantastic Gothic arches here in Brooklyn mean other than we are here in the most groovy, fantastic Greenwood Cemetery. These arches were designed by Richard Upjohn and they were added to the National Historic Registry of Historic Places. I'm really excited, I'm sorry. In 1993, as was the whole of Greenwood Cemetery. This is a very exciting place if you like history. This whole plot of land, or a whole area of land, 46 acres of it, was set aside in 1838 to be Brooklyn, the city of Brooklyn's fantastic cemetery. Paris has a great cemetery, London has a great cemetery, Manhattan had a great cemetery, but all of those graves were moved. As any of you who watch 1 Minute Walking Tour know, that some of those burials were moved here to Brooklyn. Many were moved to the cemetery belt. All sorts of things have happened here, actually on this land. Originally, when this area was gated or fenced off, people used it to play. Visiting cemeteries fell out of fashion after the flu epidemic in 1918, but by 1850 there was so much architecture, landscaping. The Battle of Brooklyn had actually been fought on a land that is now Greenwood Cemetery. So by 1850 this was the second most visited place in New York State, the first being Niagara Falls. So as I said, visiting cemeteries and hanging out in them fell out of fashion. New York City's parks became the place to hang out and so forth. There are close to 600,000 internments here, and every year there are 200 more. And since you're all wondering, let me ask you a question. What does it cost to buy a house in your local neighborhood? Okay, you got that in your head? Well, it costs $825,000 to buy a cemetery plot here in Greenwood. Now, it costs $825,000 to buy an area to have your cremains interred. Now, it was thought people would want to stop being buried here for any number of reasons. But if you can see up here behind this area where there's, I don't know if I can get a shot here, there's an obelisk. Originally behind here there was some housing for the people who would be groundskeepers. In the 1970s, those houses were no longer needed and they were torn down and they were turned into more availability for burials. That's almost full now. And now they are burying people. As you can see out here behind me, there's some trees right up behind there. Okay, people are now being buried outside the original designations of the cemetery, and apparently prices, no problem. People still want to be buried here. It's a fantastic, eternal resting place. It's great Gothic arch and everything. Now, if you can look closely, you can see there's a bird's nest up here, and if we were lucky, they stopped chirping. Well, the story goes that in the early 60s, there was a lot of bird smuggling. Yeah, birds. And someone was not entirely sure that the crate of birds that were being smuggled into the then Idlewild Airport, this was before it was renamed Kennedy, were in there. They weren't making enough noise to their liking. So they opened the lid and seizing their opportunity, the birds flew out. And all over Brooklyn there are these big, thick, really groovy looking bird's nests. Now, they're not protected in any kind of way, but certainly no one's going up there to shoo them. And you can take tours all over parts of Brooklyn to see where the birds live. Actually kind of nice. They make these very... Oh man, they were chirping right before I started rolling. But as far as Greenwood goes, the sculptures here are phenomenal. The architecture, some of the original geological formations that make up Long Island are still here. As I said, the Battle of Brooklyn was fought here. You have composers, you have politicos, you have suffragettes, you have just about name them. Legs Diamond is buried here. I mean, it really goes on and on. It's a beautiful place to walk, take photography, artists. Obviously I like it here and I'm really excited, so let's go ahead. And this is going to actually be, Greenwood Cemetery is going to be the first playlist on the new 1 Minute Walking Tour YouTube channel. So when you get there, please like and subscribe. We'll go and find new places and do new things together. So let's find some great places to look at here in Greenwood Cemetery.